created life on Earth, but perhaps evolution created aliens who then created life on Earth. Is this going to be the great deception? Is this going to be exactly what end time prophecy says about this false prophet? Now, I know there's a lot of people who believe that the aliens are real, they're coming to visit, and there's a million different conspiracy theories out there. There's 100,000 different people who claim to be abducted, they've been probed, experimented on, they have time lapse, and the cows that have had all the blood taken out of them and precision cuts and being dismembered and all of these other things. I know YouTube and every place is just filthy with these things. And there's a lot of people who have seen things that they swear up and down was real. I seen it with my own eyes. You can't tell me different. Well, the Catholic Church, in its effort to bring what it believes to be everybody back into the true church, is now embracing this to make sure everybody is included. So according to them, this could be virtually anything. Now, this New Age alien, they say, are channeling and paving the way for them. They're saying that this is going to be a cosmic shift where the good alien, bad alien scenario will be given to us, explained away, and that the trauma of previous encounters and abductions were more like clinical examinations. They're saying that people are becoming more educated. There's public authors who have brought into the deception completely. They say that these may be actually spirit messages that includes depicting Jesus as one of them. Let me read a statement that some of these people have made. It says, "You have the amusing saying of failure is not an option. This is how our dear Jesus and his holy followers feel about this mission. Their hearts are on the line. Is there more you can do to ease their efforts? We see their tireless, unrelenting work as heroic Atlas carrying the world on his shoulders. Arise, children, help the Atlas team of light to shoulder his burden. They adore you just as they adore us. We will not give up until good things have come to pass, but for their sakes and your own, please rise yourself from your 3D distractions and self-involved ambitions to begin to pull your own weight." Now, Francis played a virtual role in this disclosure that we're talking about, or the upcoming disclosure. At their Mount Graham Observatory in Arizona, Jesuits are seeing further than they've ever seen with the help of a system used in conjunction with their telescope. Now, there's a 2010 article from Popular Science that says this: "A new instrument with an evil-sounding name is helping scientists see how stars are born. Lucifer, which stands for deep breath, large binocular telescope, near infrared utility, has camera and integral field units for research. It's called an instrument attached to a telescope in Arizona. And yes, it's named for the devil, whose name itself means morning star." This is what they're saying. We know what that means. But it wasn't, they say, it wasn't meant to invoke him, according to the spokesman for the University of Arizona, where this thing is housed. Now, it's a fascinating twist on this ancient myth, and it's well known in Masonic circles that Lucifer, quote unquote, is friend, not foe. This is what they're saying. This is a Prometheus, the giver of light, knowledge to mankind, who's been horribly tormented for his gifts to humanity. We are told this is a mistake to link the morning star with one who's known as Satan. Now, Masons and Gnostics have found from the beginning pushed the idea that only through secret knowledge can mankind be saved. But the Apostle Paul spends a lot of time in the New Testament railing against this very thing. 1 Corinthians 1:27, he said, God chose the foolish things of the world to shame the wise. God chose the weak things of the world to shame the strong. 1 Corinthians 8:1 says, knowledge makes arrogant, but love edifies. Well, George Bergoglio is a well-loved cardinal through his time, all this time in Argentina. But he has some dirty skeletons in his closet. He's been accused of passively enabling this purge of leftists in Argentina during the Dirty War. And you know, Dickey of the Daily Beast asked this question. Let me share with you what he asked. When George Bergoglio, new Pope Francis, was the head of the Jesuit order in Argentina, did he do too little to protect his priest from a savage military dictatorship? Or worse, did he denounce some of them as guerrilla sympathizers, virtually sentencing them to death? It was the first time of the civil war between the extreme right-wing and left-wing groups in Argentina's society. It was 1976. And after years of growing violence by various guerrilla groups, a military Juana had seized power in Buenos Aires. Well, this secretive campaign waged by the generals known as the Dirty War was vicious. I mean, thousands of people disappeared at the hands of this Navy unit that took some prisoners to concentration camps, threw others in the sea from helicopters, pushed them right out of the helicopters into the ocean. Now, I think it's important to note that the media calls right and left is neither consistent nor historically accurate. Around the world, and especially in South America, left can sometimes be more populist than Marxist, and right can be more corrupt and autocratic than a free market. But what matters is who serves the elite and behind the black curtain of the elite, because I think it's the CIA. It has a long history of involvement in South American affairs, from Guatemala to Brazil. It's been ousting governments that it deems not to be the best interest of people who are making decisions. You know, the CIA has had a lot to do with not only Argentina, but governments in the South. And we've seen our involvement in governments in the South for a long time. So when it comes to these aliens, and when it comes to the Jesuits, and the fact that this Pope comes from Argentina, it kind of raises the question, does this connection go full circle? Is this not only connected to South America, Argentina, the Pope, our government, our CIA, or possibly our shadow government? Is there a larger connection here? Well, it makes me wonder. What's less well known is, you know, even things like illegal narcotics may actually play a role in this. You know, I wondered, after the prophecy of Saint Malachi, when the new Pope came and didn't take the name of Peter the Roman, and everybody said, well, see, all of this wasn't true. Well, let me say this first of all. The Bible gives a very strong litmus test for who a prophet is. it says that if any prophet is wrong at any time, he's a false prophet. Now, there's been false prophets in a lot of different religions. You remember the guy who kept predicting the end of the world? It didn't happen. He says, well, I was off by a few months, so it's a few more months down the road, and that time would come. And, there's false prophets in all religions. However, when it comes to the Catholic religion, and when it comes to the fact that the Bible says that this end-time prophet who joins the Antichrist will be from Rome, we have to assume that it's talking about Catholicism. Catholicism has some very strange ideas that are not biblical. I'd like to share some of these with you, because when it comes to aliens and this conference saying that these aliens are the men of renown, and saying that there's going to be the dawn of a new age, that this Pope Francis will be a yes man who covers the sins of the elite and stands as the vanguard to the most frightening disclosure in human history. Well, they're saying that this disclosure of aliens, which they say is coming, there's a lot of people calling for it. There's a lot of people saying we're long past due. They need to just admit that there's aliens, that there's aliens on Earth, that they have alien technology, they have alien spacecraft at Area 51 and other places. And there's a lot of quote-unquote experts who have just a long list of where these aliens are, how much technology we have, where their spacecrafts are at. They do interviews, they write books, they write articles. These guys are spending their lifetime digging this stuff up to expose what they say, to expose that these aliens actually exist. Now we have these Jesuit astronomers and the Vatican itself saying that these may very well just be our brothers, that they may have been created from the beginning, and that all of this, yes, is real, and they're going to come out with this announcement at some point and say, yes, we have alien technology, and some people are hesitating to do that because they believe that it will blow religion out of the water, and that religion will stop, and people will stop following a god, and there will be mass chaos. And that may be true to some degree, but let me tell you this: anybody who has a real relationship with God, anybody who has experienced the transformation that comes from the power of the cross, is not going to be affected by this. I know personally, even if one of the Greys walked up to me and to shake my hand, it would not shake my faith in God, just because I've had that experience, that life-changing experience, like many of you have. And once you have this experience, there's no going back. If it's real, there's no going back. So any announcement of any aliens or any Greys anywhere at any time is never going to make any difference for me. And I hope that your relationship is strong enough. It would never make any difference for you either. However, when it comes to the Catholic Church, now, I don't want to be viewed as a Catholic basher, because I'm not a Catholic basher, but Catholicism is not biblical. And they believe a lot of things, which I'm going to cover a few of them here, that are really going to astound you. Now, for me, when we're talking about a religion where people will believe some very obscure things, and all right, I'll say it, even bizarre. Some of these things are really bizarre. And what's double on top of the fact that they're bizarre is that there's no biblical backing for these things. There's no scripture or writings. These are all part of Catholicism and their own writings in Catholicism. I don't care what anybody says. If you go back and you look at the writings in Catholicism, when it comes to Catholicism believing in things that are, a little weird, Nowhere in the Bible does it say that we are to worship Mary. And no matter, even though, the Catholics call it to venerate. To venerate